Only 7 people in that gym knew who Bruce Lee was. The 300-pound strongman doing deadlifts in the corner didn't. The gym owner didn't. The 3 bodybuilders spotting each other on the bench press didn't. The 24 members working out on a Tuesday afternoon in a small Los Angeles gym didn't recognize the small Chinese man who just walked in wearing a plain white t-shirt and black pants. That was about to change. In the next 4 seconds, the strongest man in the building would learn the most humiliating lesson of his life, and the 31 people inside that gym would witness something they'd still be arguing about decades later. This is what really happened on Tuesday, October 14, 1969. This is the story the strongman never told. Los Angeles, California. Gold's Gym on Pacific Avenue, Venice Beach. October 14, 1969. Tuesday afternoon, 2:15 p.m. The gym is small by today's standards. 3,200 square feet of concrete floor, iron weights, and ambition. No air conditioning. 2 industrial fans push warm October air around the room. The smell of chalk dust, iron rust, and sweat hangs in every corner. Barbells clang against metal racks. Men grunt through heavy sets. A radio bolted to the wall plays Creedence Clearwater Revival, but nobody's listening. This is the epicenter of American strength culture, not the polished fitness centers that would come later. This is raw. Concrete block walls, bare fluorescent lighting, a single cracked mirror running along the east wall, weight plates stacked in uneven towers, dumbbells lined up on a homemade rack welded from steel pipe. 31 people are training inside. Bodybuilders, powerlifters, weekend warriors, men who measure themselves by how much they can lift, how big their arms are, how much space they take up. In this world, size is everything. Strength is status. And the biggest man in the room is always right. The biggest man in the room is Viktor the Bull Krasnov, not his birth name. Born Viktor Krasnovsky in Kiev, Ukraine, 1937. Came to America in 1956 at age 19 with a suitcase, a thick accent, and shoulders wider than most door frames. Viktor is 32 years old, 6 foot 4 inches tall, 307 pounds. Not fat, not bodybuilder lean either, somewhere in between, the kind of thick that comes from decades of lifting heavy things and eating everything in sight. His neck is 21 inches around, his forearms look like bowling pins wrapped in rope. His hands are so large he can palm a basketball the way most people hold a tennis ball. Viktor has been lifting weights since age 11, 21 years of dedicated training. He started in a Soviet youth athletic program in Kiev, moved through competitive weightlifting in his teens, then transitioned to powerlifting after arriving in America. His competition records are staggering. Deadlift, 745 pounds. Squat, 680 pounds. Bench press, 485 pounds. He once carried a 400-pound stone across a parking lot on a bet. He won. He's competed in 14 regional powerlifting meets, won 11 of them, placed second in the other 3. Never lower than second. Never. His unofficial title at the gym is the Bull, because once he starts moving forward, nothing stops him. The other lifters gave him that name after watching him push a stalled Chevrolet pickup truck uphill on Pacific Avenue, by himself, without warming up. Viktor works as a longshoreman at the Port of Los Angeles. He loads cargo containers by day and lifts weights by evening. His body is built for one purpose: moving heavy objects. He is, by every measurable standard, the strongest person in that gym, and probably the strongest person on the entire block, maybe the whole neighborhood. But Viktor has a problem, a personality flaw that sits right next to his strength like a shadow. Viktor is a bully, not the loud kind, not a screamer, the quiet kind, the kind who uses his size to intimidate without raising his voice, the kind who takes the squat rack when someone else is using it and just stares until they move. The kind who makes comments under his breath that everyone hears but no one challenges. Because who's going to challenge a 307-pound man who can deadlift a small car? Victor has a particular issue with martial artists. He doesn't believe fighting techniques work against real strength. He's said it dozens of times. Give me any karate man, any judo man, I pick him up and break him. His logic is simple. Weight classes exist for a reason. A 140-pound man cannot hurt a 300-pound man. Physics doesn't allow it. Muscle mass wins. Always. He demonstrated this belief 6 months ago when a young taekwondo instructor came to the gym. The instructor was fit, fast, and confident. Victor challenged him to a friendly test of strength, grabbed his wrist, and wouldn't let go. The taekwondo instructor tried kicks, tried strikes, tried joint locks. Nothing worked against Victor's grip. Victor just smiled, held on, and squeezed until the instructor tapped his arm and asked to be released. The gym laughed. The instructor never came back. This became Victor's party trick. Whenever someone new walked in, especially anyone who looked like a martial artist, Victor would find a way to test them. Grab a wrist, offer a handshake that turned into a crushing contest. Challenge them to move him from a spot on the floor. He was always polite about it, always smiling. Is just friendly, yes? Just testing. But the message was clear. Strength beats technique. Size beats skill. Every time. On this particular Tuesday, October 14th, Victor is in his usual spot, the far corner near the deadlift platform. He's just finished a set of 635 pounds. 5 reps. Not his best, but respectable. He's chalking his hands, breathing heavy, taking up space the way a man his size naturally does. The gym is moderately busy. 31 people spread across the floor, the clang of plates, the hiss of cable machines, the rhythm of a normal afternoon. Then the front door opens. 2 men walk in. The first is Dan Inosanto, 33 years old, Filipino-American, lean, athletic build, 5'9", maybe 160 pounds. He's a regular, trains here occasionally. The gym guys know him vaguely, some kind of martial arts instructor, friendly, quiet, never causes trouble. The second man is smaller, 5'7", maybe 140 pounds, Chinese, wearing a plain white t-shirt that fits tight across unusually developed lats and forearms, black pants, simple shoes, no gym bag, no gear. He looks like he wandered in off the street. He looks like he should be in a different building. The second man is Bruce Lee. Dan and Bruce are here because Dan mentioned the gym has a good heavy bag in the back room. Bruce wants to test some kicks at full power. They're not here for the weights, not here for the crowd, not here for trouble. But trouble is already watching. Victor notices them immediately. Not Dan. The small one. The Chinese man. Victor's radar is finely tuned for this. Small men in gyms, martial arts types, easy targets for his favorite demonstration. Victor nudges the lifter next to him. Carl, a regular, 240 pounds, friendly. Look, another karate man. Little one this time. Carl glances over, shrugs. Just leave them alone, Vic. Victor smiles. I leave alone. I just say hello. Is friendly. Victor waits. Watches Bruce and Dan cross the gym floor toward the back room. Bruce moves differently than anyone Victor has seen. Not the rolling swagger of a bodybuilder, not the stiff posture of a weekend lifter. Something else. Fluid. Light. Like his feet barely touch the ground. Victor doesn't notice this, or if he does, he doesn't understand what it means. Bruce and Dan reach the heavy bag area. Bruce begins warming up, stretching, slow movements, controlled. Then he starts hitting the bag, lightly at first. Jab, cross, hook. The sounds are sharp, crisp. The bag moves, but not dramatically. Then Bruce throws a side kick. Yup chagi in Korean, chek tek in Cantonese. The bag, which weighs 100 pounds and hangs from a reinforced chain, doesn't swing. It folds. It bends around Bruce's foot like it's been hit by a battering ram. The chain groans. The ceiling mount creaks. 2 men working out nearby stop and stare. One of them is Carl. Bruce doesn't notice the attention, or doesn't care. He throws another kick. Same result. The bag convulses. Dust rises from the chain mount. The impact sound is different from anything the gym regulars have heard. Not a thud, a crack, like a baseball bat hitting a side of beef. Victor has seen enough. He's watched from across the gym, seen the kicks, not impressed. Bags don't hit back. Any strong man can kick a bag. What matters is real strength, real contact, man against man, mass against mass. He walks over. 307 pounds of quiet confidence crossing the gym floor. People move out of his way without being asked. They always do. He reaches the heavy bag area, stands in the doorway. His frame fills most of it. Dan sees him first, recognizes the look. He's seen men like Victor before, big men who want to prove something. Bruce? Bruce, he whispers. The big guy. Victor speaks. You hit bag pretty good, little man. His accent is thick. His tone is friendly. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. Thank you, Bruce says. Calm, polite, not intimidated, not aggressive, neutral. But bag is just bag, yes? Doesn't move, doesn't fight back, doesn't grab you. Bruce looks at him, studies him. That's true. So what happens when real man grabs you? Big man, strong man, not a bag. Bruce tilts his head slightly. Depends on the man. Victor laughs. A deep rumble. Several nearby lifters stop to watch. They know this routine. Victor's about to do his thing. I tell you what happens. Nothing. Because little man cannot move big man. His physics, his science. No offense, my friend. You are fast, yes. I can see. But fast doesn't matter when 300 pounds has you. Dan steps closer to Bruce. We don't need to do this. Bruce puts a hand on Dan's arm. Gentle. It's fine. Victor continues. These martial arts, these techniques, they work in movies. They work in dojos. Little men fighting little men. But against real strength? He flexes his right hand. The tendons pop like cables under leather. Against this? Nothing works. Kung fu, karate, judo, all the same. Useless against real power. The gym has gotten quieter. 31 people, and now at least 20 are watching. Some have stopped mid-set. Others have moved closer. They've seen this before. Victor challenges someone. Victor wins. The small man leaves embarrassed. Entertainment for a Tuesday afternoon. So you'd like to test that theory, Bruce says. Not a question. A statement. I just say truth, my friend. No hard feelings. But if you want to show me something, I am here. I don't move. You try to move me, hit me, kick me. Use your kung fu. Whatever you want. I stand here. You show me it works. Victor plants his feet, shoulder width apart, crosses his massive arms over his chest. He's done this before. The pose, the challenge, the unmovable object. He outweighs Bruce by 167 pounds. He is 9 inches taller. His thigh is thicker than Bruce's waist. By every physical measurement, this is not a contest. This is a joke. And Victor is the only one laughing. You want me to move you, Bruce says quietly. I want you to try. Bruce looks at Victor for 3 seconds. Doesn't blink. The gym is silent now. Even the radio seems quieter, though no one touched it. Dan Inosanto takes 2 steps backward, not out of fear, out of experience. He knows what's coming. He's seen it before. He just doesn't want to be in the way. All right, Bruce says. What happens next takes 4 seconds. But for the 31 people watching, it will last forever. Bruce doesn't take a stance, doesn't chamber a technique, doesn't wind up, telegraph, or prepare in any way that Victor recognizes as a threat. He's just standing there. And then he's not. Bruce steps forward with his right foot. A small step, 6 inches. His right hand shoots from his centerline. Jik Chung Chuye, a straight blast. Wing Chun's most direct attack. No arc, no wind-up, no warning. The fist travels 14 inches in a straight line from Bruce's chest to Victor's solar plexus. The movement takes less than 1/5 of a second. Victor doesn't see it, doesn't react, doesn't flex. The fist makes contact 2 inches below Victor's sternum, dead center of the solar plexus, the nerve cluster that controls the diaphragm, the one spot on the human body where muscle mass provides almost no protection, because the nerves sit behind the muscle. And Bruce Lee's fist doesn't stop at the surface. It penetrates. 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches of impact depth. The 1-inch punch principle applied with forward momentum. Victor's body does something it has never done before. It folds. Not dramatically. Not like the movies. His diaphragm spasms. His lungs lock. His legs, those 307-pound legs that can squat 680 pounds, buckle. Not from pain, exactly. From neurological override. His body's emergency shutdown. Breathe first. Everything else, second. Victor stumbles backward. 3 steps. His lower back hits the edge of a weight bench. He sits down hard. Not because he chose to sit, because his legs made the decision for him. He's gasping, mouth open, no sound coming out. His hands go to his stomach. His eyes are wide, not angry, confused, completely, utterly confused. He's been hit before, bar fights on the docks, sparring with other lifters, clumsy punches from drunk men half his size. None of those ever moved him. None of those ever took his breath. None of those ever put him on a bench. The gym is frozen. 31 people, 0 movement, 0 sound. Carl, standing 6 feet away, has his mouth open. A barbell sits forgotten in his hands. 2 bodybuilders near the mirror have stopped mid-curl. The gym owner, a thick man named Ray who's seen everything in 20 years, is standing behind the front counter with his coffee halfway to his lips. He hasn't blinked. 4 seconds. That's all it took. From standing to sitting, from laughing to gasping, from 307 pounds of unmovable confidence to a man on a bench trying to remember how to breathe. Bruce hasn't moved from his spot. His hand is back at his side. His breathing hasn't changed. His expression hasn't changed. He looks exactly the same as he did before the punch, like nothing happened, like he checked the time on his watch, like he sneezed. Victor gets his breath back. 30 seconds of gasping, then the air returns. His face is red, not from anger, from oxygen deprivation. He looks up at Bruce, the small Chinese man in the white t-shirt, the little man who weighs 140 pounds, who is 9 inches shorter, who has no visible muscle mass compared to Victor's 307 pounds of trained, hardened, longshoreman-forged body. Victor opens his mouth to speak, closes it, opens it again. How? 1 word. That's all he can manage. Bruce walks over, not triumphant, not gloating, not posturing. He walks over the way a teacher walks to a student's desk. Calm, patient. May I? Bruce gestures to the bench. Victor nods, still breathing hard. Bruce sits down next to him. The 140-pound man and the 307-pound man side by side on a weight bench in a Venice Beach gym on a Tuesday afternoon. You're very strong, Bruce says. Genuinely. Your strength is real. I respect that. Victor stares at him, waiting. But strength without understanding is just weight. You're carrying 307 pounds. That's a lot to move, a lot of energy to redirect. But the human body has the same weak points at 140 pounds as it does at 307. The solar plexus doesn't get stronger because the biceps get bigger. The knee doesn't stabilize better because the deadlift goes up. You've been training your muscles, but you haven't been training your vulnerabilities. Victor is quiet, processing. His ego is shattered. But something else is happening, something he didn't expect. He's fascinated. The punch, Victor says. I didn't see it. That's the point. You were looking for what you know. A wind-up, a big motion, a telegraph. Because that's how strong men generate power. They load up. They use mass and momentum. I don't need that. I generate power differently. From structure, from alignment, from the ground, through the hips, through the centerline. By the time you see it, it's already there. Can anyone learn this? Bruce pauses, looks at Victor carefully. Anyone can learn principles, but you'd have to unlearn some things first. You believe strength is the answer to everything. It's not. Strength is one tool, speed is another, timing is another. Understanding the human body, its structure, its weaknesses, its mechanics, that's the most important tool. A knife doesn't need to be heavy, it just needs to be sharp. Victor nods slowly. Like a bullet, he says, small but fast. Bruce smiles. The first real smile since he walked in. Exactly like a bullet. You understand already. The other lifters have started breathing again. Some go back to their sets. Others move closer, trying to hear the conversation. Carl walks over, still holding his barbell. He sets it down. I've never seen anyone move Victor. Ever. Not an inch. Dan Inosanto, standing nearby, allows himself a small grin. He's seen Bruce do this before. Different gyms, different big men, same result, same lesson, same conversation afterward. Mr. Lee, Victor says, and the use of Mr. doesn't go unnoticed by anyone in the gym. 5 minutes ago, this man was Little Man. Now he's Mr. Lee. Can I ask you something? Of course. If you had hit me for real, full power, what would have happened? Bruce looks at him steadily. I did hit you with control. Maybe 40%. Enough to demonstrate the principle. Not enough to injure. Victor processes this. 40% put him on a bench. 40% took his breath for half a minute. He does the math. He doesn't like the math. If you would like to learn, Bruce says, I teach in Los Angeles, Chinatown, private instruction. I don't take many students, but you have something most people don't. What is that? Honesty. You asked how. Most men in your position would have gotten angry, would have wanted a rematch, would have made excuses. You asked how. That's the beginning of learning. Victor shows up at Bruce Lee's Junfan Gung Fu Institute in Chinatown that Saturday, and the next Saturday, and the next. For 7 months, the 307-pound strongman trains with the 140-pound martial artist. He doesn't stop lifting weights. Bruce doesn't ask him to. But Victor learns principles he never knew existed. Centerline theory, economy of motion, the concept of interception, hitting an opponent in the middle of their own attack. The idea that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and that the straight line wins against the big curve every time. Victor's training partners at the gym notice changes. Not in his size, he's still 307 pounds, still the biggest man in the room, but he moves differently, smoother, more aware. He stops doing his party trick with new members, stops grabbing wrists, stops challenging martial artists. When someone asks him why, his answer is always the same. Because I met a man who weighs 140 pounds, and he is the strongest person I have ever known. The 31 people in that gym on October 14, 1969, told the story differently depending on who they were. The bodybuilders said Bruce Lee used some kind of pressure point trick. The powerlifters said Victor must have been off balance. Carl, who was standing 6 feet away and saw everything clearly, said the truth. The little guy hit him once, just once, and the biggest man I've ever known sat down like someone unplugged him. Ray, the gym owner, put it differently. He'd seen thousands of men walk through his doors over 20 years. Strongmen, fighters, athletes, soldiers. He said he'd never seen anything like it before or since. I've seen big men fall. They all fall the same way. Slow, heavy, fighting it. Victor didn't fall like a big man. He sat down like a man who suddenly realized he'd been wrong about something important his entire life. Dan Inosanto drove Bruce home that afternoon. Bruce was quiet most of the drive, thinking. "You didn't have to prove anything today," Dan said. "I wasn't proving anything," Bruce replied. "I was answering a question. He said strength beats technique. He was wrong. Now he knows. That's not proving. That's teaching." Dan smiled. "You could have just told him." Bruce shook his head. "Some lessons can't be told. They have to be felt. He needed to feel it. The body understands what the mind resists." Viktor Krasnov retired from competitive powerlifting in 1972. He continued training at Gold's Gym until 1985, when he moved to Portland, Oregon to be closer to his daughter's family. He never became a martial artist, never earned a belt, but he kept a small wooden training dummy in his garage, a Mukyanjong, a Wing Chun practice tool that Bruce Lee gave him after 6 months of training. He practiced on it every morning until his knees wouldn't allow it anymore. When his grandchildren asked about the wooden dummy, he told them about a Tuesday afternoon in a gym in Venice Beach, about a man who weighed 140 pounds and taught a man who weighed 307 pounds that the strongest force in the world is not muscle, it's understanding. 31 witnesses, 7 who knew his name. 4 seconds that changed a strong man's life. 1 punch that proved what Bruce Lee always said. The less effort, the faster and more powerful you will be. October 14th, 1969. Gold's Gym, Venice Beach. The day 300 pounds sat down. The day a strong man became a student. The day Bruce Lee taught a gym full of iron that the greatest strength is the one you cannot see.